back. We appreciate you being with us here on this Sunday, honoring our veterans here on this Veterans Day. And we have a table full of people who the lives and the stories of our veterans are so dear. And Richard, we were talking when we went to break. I wanted to get a little bit into these stories and the tales that you have heard. And I guess, what's one of the ones that just really stands out for you?
Well, we find out a lot of things that aren't in the history books. For example, we interviewed from Perrysburg a B-17 bomber pilot who remembered meeting Charles Lindbergh in New Guinea and getting an up-close look at General Douglas MacArthur chewing out some officers on a bomber base tarmac.
Yeah, and there was one of the videos that we were showing people at home. You said, in fact, I believe it was this gentleman, and Bob Romaker, who you said saw the flag go down in Iwo Jima.
He was a Marine veteran. He was at Iwo Jima. He was a radio man, and at the last minute they said, "I think you'll make a good machine gunner." And they handed him a machine gun, and he was part of the invasion, and he was on the beach when the first flag went up. And then didn't he say he was there? The first flag was too small, and an officer said, "That's too small. We're going to take it down." And they took it down and went out to a ship and got a larger flag. And he saw the raising of the flag of the picture that we all see
Jump
today.
in, bud.
That's the one that Joe Rosenthal, if I got the name right, made the famous picture of the second flag.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
not the first.
No,
Right, the second flag, the
No,
most famous
that's right,
photo of
yeah.
the 20th century.
Yeah. I guess what stands out for you when you look back at some of the individuals you've been able to talk to?
I think I'll just go with the first one. I have a lot of favorites, but the first one I did was an African American who was serving, drafted in the segregated South in the segregated Army at that time. And he told me his story, and he was a very proud man. And he volunteered for combat duty, which they had to do at that time. And he told me the story of the troop train taking him to the East Coast for the transport ship over to Europe. And some of the issues that were still prevalent, unfortunately, in our society at that time was they were in the back of the train, and they were the last to be served by the Red Cross, and sometimes not served. And I asked him how he, what he felt, how'd that make him feel, and I took this off the transcript because I want to give this an accurate quote. He said, "I didn't feel too kindly toward the United States then, but that did not hinder me from doing the best I could." And so he was a very proud man, proud of his service, and proud to do that. Just a great guy. Passed away a few years ago, but that was one of my most memorable interviews. And I will tell you another thing that some of these interviews we do is, some of the things are very personal to them. I don't know if you found this, Bud, or not, but they won't put on tape. You shut the tape off, and then they tell you some other things. And so that's the things that we get as a bonus, I guess, that we can't really do that. The other thing I'll do a pitch for is the Library of Congress. Go to their website. A lot of these are now digitized in the interviews that we've done. Some of them are, some of them haven't. You can just search by name, search by area, search by who did the interview, and you can hear some of their actual words being spoken. And I would encourage anybody to do that.
And have you always done it from a video perspective, or has a lot of it been just writing down the details and creating a log?
Yeah, for me, it was just the tape recorder.
Right.
That's how I was trained with Bud, and I'm not that technologically good to do a camera piece, but it's there. And not only that, you get, for any historian that wants to do it, he was a Buffalo Soldier, by the way, one of those, and you can search by Buffalo Soldiers, by region, by anything. It's just a great thing. But it's also great for the families. It's a great service, a great project.
Yeah, but what stands out for you?
Just to continue the Buffalo Soldier thing, I got a call to interview a Buffalo Soldier, and we did a piece in the Blade, and it said this was the last Buffalo Soldier. Well, I got an irate phone call from another Buffalo Soldier. He was a minister on Bancroft Street, so I went over and interviewed him also. And the Buffalo Soldiers tell a very poignant story.
Yeah.
The most important thing that stands out for me about all these interviews is nurses and medics. They go to war without a weapon. The nurses don't have to be there. These are young women that could be home doing whatever young women do, and the medics of course, are often put into that position of a medic, but they have to go out where people are shooting both ways, and they're out on the battlefield trying to save lives. And one of my first and most important interviews was a man that was forced to go into a minefield, an unmarked minefield. Men were being blown up. And so he went in. Every step he took could have been a mine to blow him up. 6 times he went in. 6 times he came out, dragging people out on his shoulders and so on. He said, when I got done, I was so scared I thought I would shake apart. And he got a Bronze Star for that. And I said, that sounds like a Silver Star to me. He said, you know, I wasn't thinking about medals. He said, I was thinking, God, let me get these people out of here. That was a wonderful story.
Selfless act.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Bravery beyond comprehension.
Over the next few days, we are taping on Thursday. I know there is a dedication on Friday, just a couple of days ago, of the new Veterans Care Facility here in Toledo. You are going to be a part of that.
Yes, that's brand new. We've doubled the floor space and increased the number of physicians, nurses, rehab specialists serving the veterans of this entire region, which includes many, many counties in Ohio, as well as Lower Michigan. It is vastly improved. I said it's only taken 30 years to get it done. It isn't for lack of trying. Right. We finally have a president, and we have a majority in Congress who understood what it is to care for our veterans, their families, and our commitment to them. And so I'm just very grateful to be a part of that, and to turn over to the next generation a Veterans Care Facility here that is modern. And any difficulties we have there, we'll work them out, we'll improve them, but this is far better than the one that we had. And it's right on the campus of the Medical University at Toledo here. And that will be very good for the exchange of residents, nurses, research, all of the development of prosthetic devices, treatment of wounds we can see and wounds we can't see in our veterans. And we intend to do a better job of caring for those who have served us. On Sunday, I'll be in Washington at the World War II Memorial.
While people are watching.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
And being a part of that wonderful national ceremony, with General Matt Kicklighter and so many others who have been a part of developing programming at the World War II Memorial to benefit the nation. That'll be broadcast. And so I'm very honored to be there. And again, all those who have made that moment possible sort of stand there with me in memory.
Richard, as we go to break, how do people, if they want to be a part of this, we may have some veterans out there watching today who want to have their story told, what do they do?
Well, they can probably contact the Way Public Library, or they can contact the University of Toledo. Joe, I don't know what
the Kennedy Center,
because they are the University of Toledo is the formal partner in this region for the Library of Congress Veterans Project.
And every interview we do is also archived there, so you could go there in person if you wanted to, and also goes to the Library of Congress.
And I don't want people to think that this is a full-time gig for these folks. You are doing this out of love of country, out of love of service, and out of love for these veterans, obviously.
Sure.
Of course.
We feel it's important to preserve their history. You know, people don't realize history dies with people. And when these folks are gone, we're going to have their story. And if some descendant of theirs, 50, 100 years from now, wants to know something about them, they'll be able to go to the Library of Congress or the University of Toledo, and it will be there.
Bud, Richard.
And may I just say,
yes,
it's also for the nation.
Of course.
That the nation fully understands what they did, what they endured, and how the pieces have all fit together to give us now the most powerful, and I hope the most humble nation on earth.
Representative Capter and Joe, thank you so much. Stay right there. We'll wrap things up for this Sunday right after this.